So, this is the baby channel. I got a fairly long comment from one of my subscribers. I am going to respond to the comment. I'm not going to share who the person is. I don't want to make them feel like I'm picking on them or look bad or whatever it is. So, although I'm responding to a subscriber's comment, and even though I'm not mentioning who they are, this definitely applies to a few other people as well who have left me similar types of comments that are very long, and they may notice that I don't engage that much with the comment, and they may think it's because either I'm unable to do so, maybe they've made some point and I can't challenge the point, or they've pointed out some uncomfortable truth for me, and I'm sure they're thinking something along those lines, or maybe they think I'm offended. Well, all those ideas are completely off base, as is the comments themselves in general. And that's one of the reasons why I don't engage. If we lived forever, or maybe if I was retired, maybe I would engage more with these types of comments. But we live a very short life. I have a lot of stuff on my plate. As a content creator, even of a small channel, I have comments coming in from a lot of different people. So I try to engage as much as I can, but there is only so many hours in every day. At some point in time, I need to sort of pick my battles. With that being said, the comment was made regarding my video that I made where I predicted the response to Joe Biden's bullshit speech that he made the other day. The person commented that they listened to Joe Biden's entire speech. I haven't listened to his speech. I have no interest in listening to this corrupt any more than I would to listen to a Trump speech in its entirety. Again, life is too short. There's nothing Joe Biden has to say that I really care too much about. The point of my video was not about his speech, right? So that's one of the fundamental problems. The comment was all about his speech. So the commenter would say that I'm disregarding all the points that they're making, but the points that they're making is disregarding my entire video, right? Because my entire video was about how right-wing media would respond to the speech. And the fact that there isn't even a recognition of why would I be so accurate in my prediction about how they would respond to the speech when I didn't even listen to the speech? Like, what does that tell you? I mean, you might consider that the reason why I can tell how they would respond without even listening to the speech is because the responses are not about the speech. They're about propaganda, propping up the establishment GOP party, right? So from that perspective, like, if I know that that's the objective, then I know what they'll do to meet that objective. And if that's your objective, it doesn't really matter what Biden says, right? All I needed to know was the essence of the speech. The essence of the speech was he's calling out these MAGA Republicans, right? And I went over what I would do if I were a propagandist and I wanted to manipulate my conservative audience. I went over what I would say generically to a speech that's about MAGA Republicans. And I was 100% accurate. And the fact that the commenter didn't seem to even acknowledge or recognize the core point of my video. I'm trying to make a point. Why is it that they did exactly what I would do if I wanted to manipulate my audience? If I were a right-wing commentator, right, the things I said that they would say is exactly what I would do. Is it a coincidence that they happen to use the exact tactics that I would use to manipulate my audience as a right-wing commentator? That's the fundamental thing to be thinking about. But this commenter is commenting again about the speech when my video wasn't even about the speech. Because again, I didn't listen to the speech. And that was, let's see. So there were comments about him using Hitler's playbook. Question was asked, does it matter what percentage of Republicans are MAGA Republicans? It does in the context of the point I was trying to make, which is that right-wing media would dishonestly report on what was actually said. He specifically said it was a small group of people, And just about every right-wing commentator did exactly what I said, and they made it everyone who votes Republican. Like, that was a key point that I made, and that was not even responded to or addressed, right? That's one of the reasons why these types of comments that are very long and are completely, in my view, disconnected from, what I was trying to communicate, right? I'm communicating about one thing, and then the comment is talking about something completely different. So it's not very easy for me to respond to something like this. It's so like not even close to what I was talking about. So there's talk about that MAGA Republicans is the new, you're racist, basically. Maybe, maybe not. Again, that's not what my video was about. I really don't care what Biden has to say. I'm sorry, but that's my opinion. I think Biden is garbage. I have no interest in his speech or Trump's speech, right? He thinks that people are MAGA Republicans. He thinks a small percentage, a large percent. Like, I really don't care. My focus is, and what I care about is how dishonest media is, right? That's the theme. One of the core themes of my channel is critiquing media and calling out propaganda. That was the point of the video, not about Biden's bullshit speech. Then the person talks about another commentator who was quote-unquote MAGA, right? And then the question is asked, does that mean that I view that person the way Biden is talking about MAGA? The thing is that, as stated in the comment, it was not that long ago, right? So this person has awoken. They're woke now. They're woke now. So they're not ultra MAGA or whatever. They're not MAGA, right? They may have some MAGA flair to them, but this person is definitely not MAGA. So obviously I don't feel like they are who Joe Biden's talking about, because they are currently not MAGA, right? Now, if they were still MAGA, then yeah, that's who Joe Biden's talking about. But again, I don't really give a rat's ass about what Joe Biden has to say. Then I was asked if it's not obvious to me that he's trying to eliminate any competition. Again, I really don't care about Joe Biden. Joe Biden is garbage. He is an establishment, corrupt, lying, incompetent, well past his expiration date, well past retirement, just like Donald Trump person. I don't care what he's trying to do. I am commenting about media deception and lies and propaganda, not about Joe Biden. And I don't know why I'm asked, how come I can't see it clearer as day what Joe Biden is trying to do. I'm not looking at Joe Biden. I didn't even listen to his speech because I don't care about Joe Biden. Regular people that do not watch these big commentators are able to see this without being told because it's obvious. So the comment goes on to talk more about Joe Biden. And again, my video is not about Joe Biden. Saying that he's putting people against each other and asking me if I think this is okay. Again, I made a video about one thing. The comment is about something else. Because they don't want health, you're okay with eliminating them. And then there's some comment about they gave me proof of real interference and I was accused of spreading conspiracy theories. I don't know what that's about. Then I'm asked if I would have given Jews to the Nazis because the way I've been posting recent seems like I would. I don't know where that's coming from. I don't. And again, there's a reference to that this commentator was MAGA. They're not anymore. And even when they were, I treated them with respect. I heard them out. I challenged their point of view, of course, but I don't see why this is being brought up as a point. Yes, it would seem that Joe Biden is talking about people like the person this person is referring to, because this person was definitely a big Trump supporter. But who cares and what he has to say and what he thinks about anybody? The guy shouldn't be in office. He should be retired, playing with his grandkids, right? That's what I care about. Old farts getting out of power and retiring. Age limits, that's what I care about. Let's discriminate on people because they're too old. The same way I would welcome discriminating for me. If I get as old as Joe Biden is, please discriminate and don't elect me, because at that stage in life, you don't need me running the country, right? So the person says they've never been MAGA, but that I know that they would never be okay with an entire group being a target. I mean, like BLM or Antifa. I mean, I really don't think that this is accurate what this person is saying. I mean, there are groups that are extremists, that are violent, and are a threat to this country. And I'm sure this person would agree with that. And I'm pretty sure that they have no problem with those people being targeted. The issue is that the particular group that's being targeted, I guess they don't see them to be that. And that's the disconnect. But I'm gonna take the liberty of assuming that they would not have a problem with targeting of extremists. Let's say, for example, how about a gang? There's a group of people that are in a gang like the Bloods, right? And they're going around killing people and robbing people, doing all kinds of stuff. And Joe Biden is targeting them. So the person said they would never be okay with an entire group being a target. So Joe Biden, over and over again, saying the Bloods, these guys need to be locked up. They need to be stopped. They are a threat to our country. People need to be able to be comfortable walking outside their homes without worrying about being shot by one of these gang members, right? I'm pretty sure this person is okay with entire groups being the target. The only disconnect is the specific group must be a group that this person thinks warrants being a target. But I'm pretty sure everyone would agree that there is a group out there, some group out there, that they're okay with them being targeted. Then they say this is disgusting, and I'm 100% disappointed that you would post something like this. But then again, it was not long ago you complained that most people that were active on here are conservative, so I'm sure my opinion is not valid, right? I'm just a deplorable. So Joe Biden makes a speech where he targets a small group of what he calls extremists, and I make a video pointing out how right-wing media is going to spin his words to make him say what he didn't say. And the right-wing media does exactly what I said they would. And somehow from me pointing out the dishonesty of right-wing media and accurately predicting how they would cover the story, that comes across as disgusting and me attacking conservatives. Okay? You see, this is one of the key reasons. Like, one of the fundamental things in my channel is I always talk about unplugging, right? This is one of the things that really holds us back. A person who is unplugged doesn't give a rat's ass what I have to say about conservatives or left-wing or right-wing, because you are an individual. You're not in any group. You're not in any clan. You're not in any tribe. So you don't need to defend any tribe. And you don't really care what I have to say about any tribe because you're not in one, right? If I think conservatives are dumb, right, you don't care. If I say liberals are dumb, you don't care. If I say the left is dumb, you don't care. If I say the right is dumb, you don't care, right? Because you're an individual. And unless I'm saying something about you, right, then it doesn't matter. Now, I would never make a blanket statement and just say like all conservatives are a certain way, are individuals. I am also human, so I may not be super precise in my wording. So maybe I may make it sound like I may make a statement that's like all conservatives are a certain way. But anyone who's been watching me for a while should know better that I wouldn't think of any particular ideology as like a monolith, right? There's all kinds of liberals, all kinds of conservatives, all kinds of progressives, right? I can talk about what is a predominant thing in a group. For example, conservatives generally like Trump and are okay with the stuff that he does, right? They may say, well, you know, how can you say I'm okay with it? Because you would vote for him, right? The polls show that if Trump was on the ballot, he would get a ton of votes. Millions and millions of Americans would vote for Trump. So it is accurate to point out that conservatives generally like Trump. Does that mean all of them like Trump? No. Does that mean that they're deplorable? It just means that they like Trump. And that's what the polls show. So it's not like it's my opinion. This is what the data shows. Trump is, after all, the leader of the Republican Party. And the Republican Party is the party for conservatives. There's no other party that conservatives have to turn to. So the person then comments about, they used to say that the right was a little better, and I would disagree and say that they're the same. And now they're claiming that I'm doing what they were doing. Again, Just like this entire comment, it's just not. It's a failure on my part in terms of communication, because clearly the message that I'm giving is not being received accurately. So, if I gave the impression that I think the left and the right are the same, then that would be a failure on my part. I've never thought that. My thoughts on the right versus the left have not changed. I have always, since I started this channel, felt that the right more problematic than the left. However, I do recognize that it's two sides of the same coin, right? The issues with the right are the same issues with the left. Partisanship, tribalism, right? Consumption of propaganda. But just because it's two sides of the same coin doesn't mean the sides are the same, right? One side can deviate from the other side. One side may have more scratches than the other side. One side may be more problematic than the other. In my view, the right is more problematic than the left. And for those who definitely will be offended by that, would you be offended if I said the left is more problematic than the right? And if not, why is it okay for me to feel the left is more a problem, but it's a problem if I say the right is more of a problem? Why does it matter which side I think is more of a problem than the other? Who cares? What happened to freedom? I should be free to be honest about my opinion and how I feel. And if I have an opinion that I feel one side is more problematic than the other, I'm entitled to feel that way. And that should be something where people should be able to hear that and agree, disagree, or whatever. It shouldn't be a big issue. Like who cares? I think the right is more problematic. You might be right-leaning, so you're going to take it personal. I'm not sure what to do with that. Then the comment is made that I'm saying the left is better. As you know, I am very much against tribalism. The left and the right are basically both two tribes. So I don't like the framing of saying the left is better, even if maybe I might have used it myself at some point. I look at the left and the right in this country but I do make a distinction and say that one side is more problematic than the other. I have a very, very negative view of American partisans, right, regardless of ideology, right? I feel that they are very toxic. I don't think any of my conservative audience has a problem with me thinking that the left is very toxic, right? But thinking that about the right, the question is why. We need to unplug and stop taking things personal. And when you do so, it doesn't matter. Like, for example, and people with sports, they have the same issue. Get so into sports that they act as if like they're part of the team. So if I insult a certain team, there's people who will literally fight over that. And that's not the way that things should be, right? If you like a particular sports team, it shouldn't really bother you that I think that team sucks, right? I think that team is garbage. They're horrible. They're just the worst. That shouldn't be something to get you enraged or get offended or be bothered that I'm disparaging a team that you like. It's not your family. It's not your friends. It's not somebody you know. These are strangers, right? If I make negative comments about a particular ideology, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. It shouldn't be something that's referred to as disgusting and disappointing and all this kind of stuff. I am left-leaning, and I certainly don't feel that way when my conservative audience talks about how problematic the left is and how they're insane and whatever. Like, I may disagree with the comments, but it's like it doesn't bother me. I'm not part of a tribe. That's the beauty of unplugging. I'm not going to think that you guys are being disgusting by saying that the left is insane or they're too woke or they're ruining the country. I mean, that's how you feel. That's how you feel. Then there's a comment about it's not okay for a president to go after citizens, blah, blah. And again, my video was not about his speech. This comment is all about the speech. And I notice how this person is complaining about how divisive Joe Biden is being, and then they skip over Donald Trump and they go to Hillary Clinton. Joe Biden hasn't said anything that is any way compared to what Trump has done. When Trump was president, he was basically wanting to have a single political party, right? He didn't want the Democrats to be able to block anything that he was trying to do, or he didn't want to work with them. He wanted to be able to do whatever he wanted to do without having to work with the Democrats. He looked at the Democrats as enemies. He looked at the left as enemies. He looked at Democrat cities as just trash. President of the United States. Can you imagine if Joe Biden went and talked like Trump and said that red states are trash? Now, Trump didn't literally say that, but his rhetoric indicated as much. I think he made references to rats and all this kind of stuff, rat infested, and he keeps talking about these blue cities, this and these blue cities, liberal cities, whatever, right? Joe Biden is trash, but Joe Biden would never use rhetoric talking about these red states, these insane, Republican states are out of control. Think about the fact that in talking about divisive rhetoric, you talk about what Joe Biden is saying, which is nothing compared to Trump, and then you skip over Trump and you go to Clinton to talk about what she said. What would be the reason to not mention the most divisive of the three presidents? Well, Clinton wasn't a president. But the most divisive of these three clowns. Why would you only reference the liberal type politicians and omit Trump? And then the comment was made that I will be offended. As usual, I'll be offended. I don't think I've ever been offended by anything anyone has ever said on my channel. Not even the ones who say racist things to me. Anyone who knows me knows that the idea of me getting offended about something is kind of bizarre. I can't even imagine what it would take for me to get offended. First of all, I think to start with, you would have to be like a family member or someone like a wife or something like that to even qualify for offense. So that as usual, you'll be offended. And this is sort of represents the entire comment. Like just as inaccurate as this statement is. I mean, saying not only that the assumption is that I'll be offended, that's a usual thing. Saying that to somebody who doesn't really get offended. And the idea of me ignoring all the points and questions is just, again, the comment is just so disconnected from. I do appreciate the person says that this is not an attack. I didn't take it as such. It's just, in my view, this is just someone who is not unplugged. Certainly not plugged in as most people. Otherwise, they wouldn't be watching my content. Clearly, there is some level of allegiance, for lack of a better word, where there is a concern. There's an attachment to a particular group, and the feeling that I might be attacking that group is something that not being received very well. But what I would say to this person is consider the possibility that if my video was going after Joe Biden or someone on the left, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have gotten this type of comment. I think we need to stop being attached to ideology. It's not really something that, because then when someone's trying to make a point about media and propaganda, you might miss the point, distracted by the idea that the content is somehow attacking you when it's nothing to do with you. My video was about Tim Pool, Blaze TV, Fox News, Tucker Carlson, and I was 100% right. Tucker Carlson it's almost like he watched my video and used what I suggested as the manipulation tactics I suggested. He basically utilized them. And it would have been nice if the comment was something, at least part of the comment was addressing propaganda, which is what my video was about. This is the Debate Me channel. Debate Me comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell, be well. This is not an attack on a person. The person said it's not an attack. Well, this is not an attack on them either. It took all this time, all the comments. It's difficult for me to, if I were to engage in every single comment like this that I get, even for a small channel, I would never get anything done. And there's a ton of stuff that I don't get done. I may give the impression that I'm getting everything done and I'm so organized, but the reality is where I am right now is a disaster. It's a mess. I suck at cleaning. I've been struggling with that. I'm trying something new. I got a bunch of transparent bags and I'm got some big Sharpie, Trump style markers, and I'm labeling them based on categories, and I'm just trying to just grab stuff and throw it in a bag. I'm just trying to make it simple because that's something I struggle with, right? And I probably should have been finishing that up, but instead in this moment, I decided to take the time to actually respond to this. I hope that's something that's appreciated and not taken as an attack or something that is offensive. But just know that I'm usually not going to be able to do this, right? I'm just one person. I'm overwhelmed. You guys know I got insanity right now with the house I just bought. Severe risk financially right now. Very, very delicate stuff. Yeah. So if you write a long comment like this, you're not offending me. I'm not afraid of the comment. I just simply might not have the time. And it's a little difficult for me to say this because I appreciate that someone spent the time to try to communicate with me and share their ideas and disagreements, and for me not to be able to return the favor. But that's just not practical. That's just, when you're a content creator, you just can't respond to everyone. You can't respond to every comment, right? So that means there's going to be comments that are good comments that you don't get to respond to, right? If I don't get stuff that I need done, like in my life, stuff that's important, like me getting this place cleaned up, then of course I'm going to miss comments, right? Or choose not to engage in certain comments that I just feel, if it's a minor disagreement, it's one thing, but if someone writes a comment that shows that they completely didn't understand, what I'm talking about, I feel it's more efficient for me to maybe do another video and get another stab at it, try a different tactic than for me to try and, I don't know, it's just that there can be times where someone's comment is just so disconnected from, and it's not a knock on the person, not that the person is stupid or whatever, nothing like that. Communication is a delicate thing. I've had people at work trying to train me on things, and the way they word things, it's confusing to me, and I'll just struggle because I'm just not connecting with the language they're using or how they're speaking, right? That's going to happen to some of my audience. Sometimes I'll make a video and, I'll think I'm being super clear and I think I'm getting my point across. Hey guys, look at what, partisan media does, blah, blah. And someone might totally miss that and get sidelined or sidetracked by something that I said that maybe rubbed them the wrong way, right? That's going to happen. Anyway, guys, happy Saturday, and until next time. I'm exhausted. Busy day today.